And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Oh my God, yes, it is the Weighing In podcast, and we are going to talk about the very first UFC of the year, which happened. There were a couple fights that I was very interested in. There was some that I was not, but overall, hey, it is the start of the year. That's good. We're back to, I guess it's almost like being in season. It's a cold season right now, but we're in season. What's up, my man?
What's up, buddy, man? The new Jeep is rocking.
I got a question.
Yeah, what
How's that Jeep?
That Jeep is rocking.
What engine does it have in it?
Well, you guys, we were talking about the new Jeep, and podcast Dave's like, no, we're not doing this right now.
No, we're not doing this.
No, get on this show will never make it to TV. This show will never make it to YouTube if you guys don't start. Let's go. I love the new Jeep, man. It's the new Jeep Grand Wagoneer, whatever it is, and it's awesome.
Fancy.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I was like a little kind of the body style, but it's nice. Rode smooth when I drove it all the way down from Idaho. And as now I'm really starting to enjoy it. It just feels like it handles better. It feels like it's got a little bit more pep in it. Even though I think they almost have the same engine, the Denali and the Jeep.
So you have no idea.
I have no idea. I think it's a 5.7 liter.
What kind of man are you?
I know.
Man up, Josh Thompson.
I'm like,
man up. You're supposed to know these things.
No, I'm a mechanic.
We're talking liters. We're talking size. We're talking horsepower.
Yeah.
You're so goddamn metro.
Yeah, I'm just like, whatever. Whatever, man. Does it start in the morning when I gotta go? That's all I care about.
I push the button, it goes vroom, and that's all I know.
That's exactly what it is. And when it doesn't go vroom, I'm like, hey, call the fucking people to come pick it up. Get the flatbed out here, just tow this shit away. Tow it away, man. Get it out of my face. It's been fun, man. I like it. I like it a lot. It's clean. It's nice. It's but it is brand new. It's only a week old, so. But over my Denali, I think I like it more. It seems like it handles better. Yeah, it's a little bit lower. It's a little bit lower to the ground, I believe. It has a wider wheelbase, and
the Jeep people will be calling you for.
Hey, call me up.
Commercials.
Call me up. I'll take it. I mean, I've had 6 Jeep Grand Cherokees, and then this is my first Wagoneer because they just came back out with it. But yeah, I like it, man. I like it a lot. It's got 2 sunroofs. Got a sunroof in the third row.
Is it enough to handle the incoming Noah's Ark rains that are coming to California?
It's biblical here. The rains here are biblical here.
Ooh, biblical. Like you guys don't even know. Here, I just want you don't even know what fucking rain is.
Oh, geez, stop it, please. Jeez,
you guys have no idea.
John.
Yeah, well, when it rains 6 inches in 1 hour, John, then you know what rain is.
What would you know about California? You haven't been here, man. Yeah,
hey, look at Dave put up
things
a bunch
change.
of nice. Oh, that is a nice looking. That's a nice.
There it is.
Vehicle.
That's the new version though. That's not new version, but they're making a new version where it's longer. That's like the suburban one. I don't have that one. I didn't want that one. I had the shorter one, yeah. But it's nice, man. I like it. Mine's white as well.
Actually, it looks nice.
It is. The body style is not as like, I don't know, as sporty as.
It looks just like a damn freaking Denali.
It does pretty much, yeah. Especially it looks like my white Denali and my other white Denali. So, oh man,
here I'm going to get a different car that looks exactly the same.
Well, what I like, there's a couple of things. It's got a TV in the dashboard for the passenger, so they can watch TV in the dashboard of the passenger. And
really,
I got TVs in the headrest, so they can watch TV back there too. So the fam's just loving it, man. They're like, yeah, because you can't.
Your wife doesn't have to talk to you. I understand.
There's a privacy screen on the right. Yeah, no one wants to talk to me.
A privacy? Hold on. What do you mean? There's a privacy screen?
So like on the dashboard, it has the TV, but from the driver's side, you can't see it. Because that's the only way they do it. So there's like a privacy screen, like it's like a tint to it that you can only see when you're looking directly at it.
So they have it so they can say, well, you can't see it, so it can be on.
So it can be on. I know. And then there's a sunroof. I like the last. There's a sunroof in the third row. So it's got one big sunroof that goes all the way to the back of the bucket seats from the front seat to the back seat. But then in the third row, they have their own sunroof. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know. Nice. It's growing on me, man. It's growing on me.
Okay.
Anyways, I'll stop talking about my fucking first world country problems. my fucking white privilege ass.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, Lord. All right. Let's get into the card, John. I mean, I know there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of news to talk about. I mean, we all found out about the Francis stuff last night. Umar sounds like he's got another fight lined up. But you know what? Let's first get into the card, and we'll talk about it and break these things down. Sean Strickland, John.
Go ahead, say it.
I thought he looked good for someone
who looked really good, especially for 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had him winning at 49-46. I thought he won 4 of the rounds. I had it just like 2 of the judges had it. And I thought overall, it's about effectiveness. Sometimes some of the stuff he does, you're going, it doesn't look real good, but he's landing and it's having an effect. And that's all that matters. And his ability to crush space, make someone fight in the range that he's comfortable with, makes him a good fighter, man. Makes him tough to deal with. You've got to put shots on him that are going to hurt him or put him in a position where he can't control that range. And if he can control the range, he's going to do well.
There's 2 ways of looking at this fight for me. And not on just the Strickland part, but when I look at Sean, I thought he fought well. They were able to get the fight at 205 instead of at 185 or whatever it was. He was not comfortable carrying that weight. Yeah, you could tell he wasn't comfortable carrying the weight, especially in the 4th and 5th round. Yeah, but he's not the prettiest of fighters, and I mean, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about his actual looks. He's not pretty there either, but he's a hell of a fighter, though. He's a hell of a fighter, and what I liked is when he mixed it up with the takedown. That really made Imavov think about, I have to actually think about this. This guy's not just going to stand directly in front of me, which he did for 99% of the fight. But you mix that up in a little bit, and it really gives you that split hesitation. Sure does. And as a fighter. And the other side, John, is when I was talking about the 2 sides. Imavov, though, super confident coming in, but these are the fights that you should not succumb to. Like, you shouldn't succumb to the pressure of the UFC. I've been on this side from not just UFC, Bellator, Strikeforce. You get the pressure that you have to still fight because you're the main event or you're the co-main event, and your opponent falls off. You don't have to fight. You don't. And that's the thing. Like, now he got forced to fight someone who's tough, who can take damage, who can deliver big shots, and should have been fighting him in his weight class. And now he has a loss to him. It's going to affect him a little bit. Like, that's the thing. Like, not only will it affect him mentally that he lost to this guy, but it will affect him on the rankings. It'll affect him on his way up. And he fought someone who came in 10 pounds over him. I know the weight class was 205. They agreed upon that. And once he took the fight, now all the responsibility is off of him. Like, that's your fight. You're supposed to fight this guy. No matter what happens, you take the responsibility for the win or the loss. And I don't like when guys do this. I don't like it because he came in 194 and Strickland came in 204. 10 pounds is a lot of weight. A lot of weight when you're dealing with someone.
It is a lot of weight, but in reality, let's be honest, it's a lot of weight for Strickland to carry because he's never been fighting at that kind of weight before. Because he obviously had to drop down to get to that 204. He had to cut a little bit. How much he put back on, I don't know, but you figure he's fighting at a weight class that was 20 pounds over what he's used to, and you could see the difference. Sean normally does not get tired. He's got a good gas tank, and he wasn't, when we talk, there's a reason for training camps, and it is to peak. It is to, reach that point where you're at your absolute peak performance abilities as far as cardiovascular, as far as muscular strength, everything that we're talking about that happens in fighting. And it wasn't there for him, but mentally, that was the difference. He was able to enforce his will on Ivanov, and Nasruddin, the one thing that I think he'll learn from this fight, though, is he's going to learn, hey, I've got to figure out when someone does start to try to enforce where this fight's going to be at, starts to enforce the range, distance, and how it's going to be fought. I have to figure out how I change that up because he didn't have the answer. And that's a big part of fighting, and it's something that, his coach wasn't able to get through to him, during the fight. He wasn't able to switch it up. And that made it a tough fight for him. But yeah, he lost. It's not, it's not something you ever want to do. But in the end, I don't think that at this point it's going to hurt him. I think he's going to be close into the same range. I don't think it's going to hurt him. I really don't. He's a good fighter. He wasn't able to implement the game plan that they had come up with against that opponent. Sean's a lot different than me, and this is what I said. Sean's a lot better in the grappling area than people give him credit for.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to disagree with you. Respectfully disagree.
Go
with
ahead.
You. It's going to hurt him. It's not going to hurt him, I don't think, so much in the rankings because of the switch of the weight classes, all that, which it shouldn't. Yeah. But it will hurt him mentally, and it does kill a little bit of that hype train because everyone was talking about how good he was. So
I agree with you. Mentally, it can. It all depends on how, where he is as far as maturity and understanding. Hey, this is part of the world that I live in, and this is what I either rise from it and grow, or I let it fucking sink me.
But the hype train also loses a little bit too because people were following him, people thinking, "Oh man, he's looking so good. He's on track to start making a run," and then something like this happens, and all people are going to remember is Sean. Some people won't even remember this fight was at 205.
No one will remember that.
Yeah, majority of the fans they don't even care. They don't even know. But then next thing you know, oh, Strickland's in there. He's ranked at Imavov. He's ranked ahead of Imavov. He's better than him, and that train's already now. It's people have already said, or people are already seeing that Strickland is the better fighter. That it's not. I don't know if that's the case. I think if they're both at 185, it might be a different fight. Might be.
Could be.
Anyways, but either way though, I thought it was a good fight by both fighters. They fought their asses off. I agree. Imavov couldn't make the changes. He was struggling to make the adjustments as the fight went on. Sean Strickland very focused, laser focused in on getting that win, making sure that last time didn't happen again, really pushing on the action, trying to let the hands fly and mixing it up, and just great game plan by him and getting the job done. Nice work.
Yeah. And I thought he did overall. He listened to his coaches this time. When they were telling him to do something, he was trying to implement it. It doesn't mean it always worked for him, but he was trying to implement that, and that's good. That's showing that, he's not being that guy that I know what I'm doing and I'm going to just be stubborn about this. Hey, let me hear it. Okay, I'll try. And he did.
Is Eric his coach?
Eric Nixick is one of his coaches.
Yeah, he's one of his coaches.
Yeah.
Good.
Eric Nixick is an outstanding coach. He does a great job of getting people focused. He gives good information in between, and it's one of those things. He's honest with his guys, and that's one of the things I think you hear it all the time, but man, you very rarely hear some coaches that tell their guys the truth because they don't want to upset them and all those things, and you got to hear the truth.
Yeah, if you're in my corner, you're not telling me the truth, you won't be in my corner much longer.
There you go. But you hear it all the time.
Yeah, it's so sad.
The problem is a lot of coaches become fans during the fight. You're doing great. No, you're not. You need to change this up. I need you to step here. I want you to get your foot to the outside. Whatever it's going to be that's going to help you change the direction of what's happening. That's what's got to happen.
Yep. Next.
Yeah, Dan, 50K EK. I hope he got 50K for that because that was a hell of a fucking left hook. That was a beautiful shot. Now, and this is one of those fights you look at and, there was all kinds of things coming into it. You could say, and, you had picked Ige to win this fight. You had said, I think Dan Ige is going to win it. And Jackson had coming off of a very big win against Pat Sabatini. I mean, that was a huge win. But right away, Ige took control of this fight. And you could see, again, controlling where the fight was going to be, controlling the engagements, controlling the distance. And I'll give Jackson credit. Although he's awkward looking at times, he's effective with it because it's difficult. It is a difficult style to deal with. He's in and out. He's got a lot of head movement. It's herky jerky, kind of Keith Jardine like, but not easy to deal with. And I thought Dan Ige dealt with it very well. He actually landed some really nice shots. Yeah,
Jackson, the herky jerkiness, that's true. He also spent a lot of energy being herky jerky on putting his back against the fence.
Yeah.
That you're either good at fighting that way or you're not. Keith Jardine could do it and land big shots and get you out of there, or he could, outpoint you and then try to get you taken down, whatever it was. But he had that herky jerky style, Keith Jardine, and that was effective for him. With Jackson, Dan was pushing so much pressure on him and moving his head offline and countering and landing and touching him. That never had to really be hard. He was just touching him enough to make him, hey, I'm here, buddy. I'm still here. And that constant pressure.
Well, and every now
really
and then he touched him with a good one. You could see that the power of Ige. All of a sudden, Jackson was going, God damn, I can't get hit like that again. You know, and once it's been put into your head, ooh, I can't let that happen again. Now you start to slow down your progression offensively because you're trying to not make the mistake to allow that shot to hit you.
Yeah, Dan is a bully when he wants to be, you know. And if you look at the way he's fought other fighters, Barboza and those guys, he's tried to bully them around. He's not a big guy.
No,
he's not a big guy, but gosh damn, he can fucking fight. He's just the guy. He's got a great mindset. He understands what it's. Yeah, mentally tough. Probably too tough for his own good, you know, in some fights. But
how many Hawaiians have you known like that?
Just all knuckleheads. Just all of them.
Man,
all of them. This guy named BJ Penn comes to mind, knucklehead. But just mentally tough. These guys. What I like about him, John, is that he's quiet. He's nothing like me. He's quiet. He comes in, fights his ass off, you know, and I don't want to say demands, but kind of commands respect. Like people just respect him when he walks into a room. He's a nice guy. He's humble. They do. He says nice things about each other. You know, he's not a negative guy. He's not a trash talker. He's a good kid, man. I really like him a lot. I like being around him, and man, he's a good fighter. And it was great. I thought it was a great win. When I looked at the two of these last week, we talked about it. I picked Dan because he's my friend, but I also picked Dan because I thought if he just fought aggressively, that he'd be able to start slowing Jackson down. That's exactly kind of what happened.
Worked out.
Yeah. He fought a great fight. Great job.
And the left hook that he landed at the end.
He's got some power.
Yeah, but it's also the short shots. You know, those things, you know, 6 inches, boom. A lot of power on it. So
who did he knock out? They kind of put him into stardom a little bit. There was someone he came out and knocked him out like in the first 25 seconds. Can you look up Dan Ige? It was a quick 20. It was a quick.
Yeah, there you go. It was Gavin Tucker.
Okay.
Yeah, Gavin.
He came out, boom, done. I was like, damn. That kind of catapulted him a little bit. Yeah.
He's had some big wins. You look at the Besic. You know, Besic at the time that Ige fought him, he was on a tear, man. People were really expecting big things out of him. Ige shut that down. You know,
the Barboza fight.
Yeah. He's had a lot of good wins.
No, he's good, man. He's a good fighter. You know, he's come up short on some of them, but he's a good fighter. Definitely a great fighter. Next,
we had Raquel Pennington taking on Caitlin Vieira, didn't we? Oh no, we had Roman Kopylov. That was right. That was before. Sorry, Kopylov against Soriano. And dude, Punalehi, I love. He's a great guy, big power, but here's where technique takes over, and the jab of Kopylov, man, this is, you know, it's funny. Kopylov reminds me of Chase Hooper.
Yeah, a little bit of that young Sean O'Malley too.
He's a bigger version of both of those guys, and you look and he's got, you know, the almost the same look, you know, with the hair and everything. But goddamn, he can definitely.
You know who their dads are, right? Ben Askren.
Yeah, Ben Askren.
Ben Askren fathered all these guys. Oh shit.
So, but Kopylov, the jab, as simple as it gets, man. Look, the jab can be an effective tool, and he used that jab to set up some of his shots on Soriano, and Soriano was unable to stop the jab. And then once he started going to the body, the kicks that near the end, the kicks that he landed, the fact that Punalehi was able to actually stand shows you how tough he is as a person, because, man, you know what that's like. I know what that's like. It's horrible. Your legs they just go out. You can't stand. And he stood there and he still took it. Just wasn't able to, you know, match the technical ability of Kopylov. And Kopylov is getting, you know, that's a couple in a row now. He's a guy people are going to have to look out for in the middleweight, based upon he has got a good technical stand-up game. He's got good wrestling. He doesn't really use it a whole lot, but his stand-up, man, technically he's sharp.
Your power can be a curse, and that's kind of what I saw a little bit last night. He had some success early in the first round, and as the fight went on, he was missing his target a lot. And then he started to slow down. Then he started leaving himself open. He was lunging in on some big shots. It was walking into the jab, getting hit with the body kicks. When you reach and lunge in, that leaves yourself wide open to be kicked to the body, whether it's a teep kick or whether it's to the side of the body kick, whatever it is.
Roundhouse kick.
Roundhouse kick. Yeah, it really can start to play on you. And I saw that as the second round kind of started taking off. He started missing. He started taking shots, walking into the jab, taking the body kicks, and it just wasn't working. And he tried harder. And as he tried harder, he left himself open more and more. Power can be a curse because you're chasing after that highlight reel knockout.
That one shot.
You know you have it in you. You know you have it in you, but it could be to your detriment. So good stuff by Kopylov.
You sure would have loved to have had it.
I know I never had power, so I never had to worry about that. My shit was punches and bunches.
Punches and bunches, baby.
Yeah, I had no power, man. No power. But overall, though, it was a good fight. I thought it was a great, really a well-contested fight. Both guys were going for it, landing big shots. I just thought you could see technically one fighter was a better technical fighter and threw better technical shots. That's why they found the target while the other one didn't. True.
Raquel Pennington against Caitlin Vieira. I love Raquel Pennington. She is a sweetheart of a person. She is a good fighter, and when she throws, she's effective. She just doesn't throw enough, man. Still to this day in this fight, even though I thought she squeaked it by, I thought she got the win, I thought she should have, but she made it too close. And she was landing good shots. It was the power of her shots is really what, in the end, I think swayed the judges and put it over to her. But it was a split decision. It was close, man. She's got to be careful. She's got more output.
Yeah, happy for her to get the win. She's having a baby coming up with Tisha Torres. Good for them. And but in this it's like that stress I think off of her shoulders has been lifted. Now I can wait until probably the next 6, unless she wants to try to get another one in right away. But
that's 5 wins in a row. She's looking. She wants title.
But John, I'm gonna go right back to what you just said.
I know
you can't win titles off of the lack of output. I mean, I had it being a close fight. I could have seen it going the other way, and I'm a Raquel Pennington fan. I could have seen it going both ways. But then, like you said, we were talking off air. She had the harder, cleaner shots, but she didn't have a lot of them. She didn't really have a whole bunch of them, and sometimes getting pressed to the fence too. She was being controlled against the fence sometimes. You really didn't know what the judges were thinking, and it's pretty clear it was a split decision. So it's like you can't leave that into the judges' hands because she's a really good fighter. She can't afford to keep making these fights close. She can get these people out of here.
Yep.
Show me that Rocky, girl. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Show me that Rocky.
Come on.
Just walk it down, move your head offline, and throw big shots. Because she's pretty big for the weight.
Her right hand was money, though, throughout that fight.
It was. Definitely was. But I just want to see more out of her, like you.
Yeah. That's the real thing. More output.
Mm-hmm.
Just crank up the volume. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Oh, there was this dude named Nurmagomedov. He had an okay fight. We'll go past that one.
Yeah.
Umar Nurmagomedov against Ronnie Barcelos. Man, you take a look at it, and Barcelos is a good fighter. He's a, good stand-up fighter. He's got good wrestling. He just was unable to find the range on Umar. Umar controlled that range really well and nice teep kicks up the middle at times. Good, clean left hand right down the pipe that, landed every now and then. And then take a look at the combination body kick and punch that fucking put him away. I mean, it put him out. That was a clean knockout. Beautiful job by Umar. He's just, you can see the difference in this man. I want to say kid because he's a kid still.
He is a kid still.
He is, but you can see how much he's grown as a fighter. He really came in and he was, when you can think about when you met him, flashy, threw a lot of spinning attacks. Everything was, bouncing all around and didn't have a true plan on how to set somebody up for what he was going to do. Now he does. Now he's understanding how to fight and he's just becoming more dangerous.
Yeah,
look out, 135s.
Yeah, that division's in a lot of trouble. I'm just being honest. I mean, there's a lot of great fighters in that division. We talk about that division being one of the best divisions in the sport, if not the best. And he's kind of running into the same problem that Islam and Habib had.
Nobody's going to want to fight him.
Nobody wanted to fight him until they become champion. And then they become champion and they all want to fight him.
Well, of course.
But he's humble. He's very focused on what his goal is, like in terms of laser focused on this is what I've got to do. I've got to make sure I stay the course. And he is really kind of coming into his own. And John, that like we talk about, fighters will throw that same side that they'll throw a roundhouse kick to the leg, and they'll come back over with the right overhand right. Stephen Thompson does it a lot. A lot of the Taekwondo style type fighters do it a lot.
Yep.
And
which is really what he's got a Taekwondo style in the stand-up.
He does. Him and his brother both.
Yeah.
Him and Usman. So the two of them, but with Umar, he's like I said, the last 2 fights ago, I was grappled him, grabbed him, to give him a hug and like kind of just messed around a little bit, and he still felt like a kid. This last time I saw him in Chicago, I did this to him, and I was like, "Oh, you're not a kid anymore. Like you're not." No.
Part of that is him getting bigger, stronger, more mature, more masculine. The other part is you're getting older.
Yes, this is true as well. But there wasn't that much of when we did Seattle. When did we do Seattle?
August.
Okay, so August is when I grabbed him.
Compared
and I was
to
like,
November.
"Oh, yeah." Compared to November, all that quick. He just felt physically bigger, thicker, more muscular, and stronger. And I was like, wow, this is. And then to see him have a performance like this, and then they've talked about him. But I saw he posted saying March 4th. ... So, I mean, if they're going to turn him around that fast, which is
hold
smart.
on, that might be him saying, "Hey, how about March 4th? ... And everyone's going to go, "How about no?"
Nah. I mean, Dave, can you pull up the rankings for his division? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of great fighters in there. But if we're going to match him up against somebody, Ricky Simone?
I would tell you the fight that I think would be really interesting. I don't know if Umar would want it. Yeah, Ricky Simone would be a good fight, absolutely. And you could take a look at any of those. But Chris Gutierrez, his stand-up, he's sharp. He's got good defensive wrestling and stuff. As a stand-up fight, that would be a good fight.
Yeah. I mean, from what I understand, they haven't had one person in the top 10 take the fight.
Yeah.
They've been asking, give us a top 10. No one has taken it. They've offered it to several people is what the UFC has told them, and they've all turned them down.
Well, the one that I'd really like to see, that if you're going to have that fight, I would love to see Umar against Merab.
Oh,
it'd be a great fight.
I know it would. It's a big jump real quick, though. I'd like to see him fight one more time at a better level.
But Davlashvili's got great wrestling, great pressure, and that's something that most people have not been able to do.
Yeah.
With Umar, is put that kind of pressure on. Let's see how he reacts with it, because there's no doubt in the stand-up he's a much cleaner and more effective striker than Merab. But Merab's got the wrestling that he once he gets a hold of you, and he's got a gas tank. I would love to see that fight.
Yadong Song
that would be a good one.
That'd be a good fight.
That'd be a good fight.
He's got to worry about the power, the speed. He's got to worry about that. He's got to keep him on the outside.
See, the difference is Yadong Song is he can wrestle, but he stands most of the time.
Yeah,
and so kind of in a way, I think it would play out for Umar the way he'd want. The Merab fight would not play out the way Umar wants unless he makes it happen.
Yeah,
and that's why I want to see it.
Yeah, he needs to. I think one more fight at least before he fights.
You're always wanting one more.
I want one more. Yeah, I want one more. I want to see a little bit more.
I want more time.
Because John, it's not really fair to him either that these guys won't fight him, and he needs to get that type of experience in the cage before he starts fighting Merab.
Yeah, but
before he starts fighting Peter Yan and those.
But
guys.
if you were sitting in and again, I just said I'd like to see Merab, but I wouldn't blame Merab for saying no. I'm not taking that fight. Why am I going to fight a guy who's down at number 11? It's not going to do anything for me. But there's nothing that they can do with him as far as putting him any higher or anything like that. He doesn't want to fight for the championship. And so, hey, that's the fight.
I mean, if we're just going to keep going up that high, might as well just give him Sean O'Malley.
I'm okay with that.
I'll take that fight. I mean, if we're handpicking opponents here, I mean, I'll just take Sean O'Malley. All right, next.
All right, we had the this one. I don't know if you. Oh, I'm sorry. Javid Basharat against Mateus Mendonca. It was a great fight back and forth. I mean, very tough fight for both guys. I thought Mendonca showed that, man, he's got no quit in him. Tough as hell. He just was beat by a guy that was a smoother technician overall and in basically all the areas and stuff. Maybe not as good in the submission, aspect, but was able to stop everything that Mendonca was trying. But I give it to Mateus. He fought a tough fight, man. He went in there. He got hit with a lot of big shots that he walked through for the most part. There was a couple times he got a little rocked. You could see him, give a little stanky leg. But tough fight between two really good fighters. Both guys impressed me with their performances. Mendonca lost, but I don't think he loses a whole lot from it.
Yeah, he showed that he needs to work on his conditioning a little bit, or he needs to learn how to conserve his energy in that first round. Because after that first round, he had nothing. He really slowed down in that second and third round. He just didn't have the output that he had in the first. He wasn't as accurate. Now, when you young fighters or people that are listening to us, take a look at the way he fought that first round, how he was all over the place, throwing things from real weird, unorthodox positions. Those things, they add up in terms of making you fatigued and tired. Your body's not, you're really trying too hard. You're throwing things that your body's not used to throwing from different angles. And it starts adding up to where that power energy bar just starts going down and depleting itself. And in that second round, he started off good, but then he just started tapering off because he was missing shots, getting hit with shots, and then trying to fight off of his back foot, whereas in the first round, he was on his front foot and he was being a bully and pushing him around.
Yeah.
But in the second round, then he went from that to fighting off of his back foot, going, man, I dominated this guy in the first round. What's going on? Well, it's because you're tired, because you're not reacting as fast. His speed, the way he was seeing things coming in the first round wasn't there in the second round. And the third round definitely wasn't there. You know what I mean? So he's just not, you have to make those adjustments on understanding when you can keep pushing the envelope and when you need to shut it down a little bit, let the guy have, take control a little bit of the fight. But then, you can conserve your energy.
Be like Sean Strickland was, I think, in the third round, fourth round, somewhere in there. You can see he slowed things down because he was getting tired.
Yeah.
And you got to learn how to do that at times.
Yeah, you can't always try to be the hammer. Sometimes you got to circle, get your breath, and then, okay, I'm going to go back in now. Okay, I'm ready to do it again. So
true.
You got to make those adjustments as a young fighter. Next.
Abdul Razak Al Hassan against Claudio Alberio. Hey, man, this is one of those fights where you try to tell people, look, when you're fighting, you can't always just be this guy going fucking after someone, which we've seen from Al Hassan numerous times, trying to land big shots and everything. I thought he fought a smart fight against a dangerous guy in Alberio. I'd watched Alberio fight. His stand-up is really slick, really good. He's got power. And I thought that Al Hassan fought perfect. He closed the distance when he could. He put weight on him. He tried to get his arms a little heavy. And when he was, in a position to, open it up and try to lay the wood to him, man, he cracked him. It's just the way it is, And
lay
sometimes,
the wood. Lay the wood.
It's called a baseball bat upside the head because that's about what he got hit with. And, I mean, that's a big knockout win for him. Boy, I heard that from the news, what was it, the media scrum that he had afterwards. He doesn't like Joaquin Buckley. He wants to fight Joaquin Buckley. He was saying, I guess, all kinds of stuff about him. So maybe that's the fight we'll see next for him. But I thought this was a great win for him.
Oh, I'd love to see that fight. I like Joaquin Buckley. I think he's a great fighter. I'd love to see that fight. Good fight. He seemed like he was doing a little bit of the same thing that one of the guys up in earlier was. He was chasing the big shot, chasing the heavy knockout, and he was missing a lot. And then finally he was able to catch it. But still,
Punalei.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, Soriano, you can't chase that. You've got to let it come to you. And you hear it all the time from top level coaches in the world. Don't go chasing the knockout. It'll come. Just touch. Get them out of there. Nick and Nate Diaz have a lot of knockouts and a lot of finishes. But you got to think, they don't have a lot of power. It's just that they touch you so many times, and then they turn it up. They just put their hands on you, making you turn your head one way, right into a shot. Turn your head the other way, right into a shot. And then as they rock you, then they put you away with the barrage of a bunch of punches. And so these fighters that have fallen in love with that power, they've got to be careful. Just start touching them. Just touch them. Just put your hands on them. Mike Tyson used to say that. Once I start touching you, it's a matter of time. That's all you got to do. When you start lunging in and reaching, overreaching, it's a big problem, man. You leave yourself open to be countered, and when you miss, you get fatigued. And that's a little bit of what Soriano went through that.
Yep.
But Al Hassan, he's got to be careful because the tougher level of competition is going to give him some problems if you keep missing the way you were missing last night in that fight.
Yeah. But it was a big win for him. Congratulations. We had, they kept on saying this, Rembecki is the way they said it, so I'm going to say it's Rembecki. Matthias Rembecki against Nick Fior. This is one of those fights. I thought Fior came out trying to use range, being smart. We know he's got a good jiu-jitsu, but this is what happens when you've got jiu-jitsu and someone's putting big shots on you, and eventually it goes to the ground and you're on your back, and all we do is close our guard because I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Just give me a second. And there is no give me a second. You got to go. And he wasn't able to. Created no situations where he was able to put Mateus in any type of, bad situation with a submission. And time just went away from him. He just slowly got beat down to the point where he was the guy that we call the nail throughout that fight for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Next.
Alan Nascimento. That was a beautiful rear naked choke against Carlos Hernandez. Mm-hmm. Fantastic job of switching it up, going from what we call the Mata Leon, the locked in rear naked choke, into palm to palm. Slipped it at the right time. That's why it worked well. Beautiful win by him. Mm-hmm. And the last one I want to talk about is Charles Johnson.
Yes.
Against Jimmy Flick.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I think once he settles in to the talent that is in that division, once he really settles into the UFC, I'm telling you right now, this kid is looking to probably take this whole flyweight division by storm. He is so good. His athleticism, his speed, his accuracy, the way he mixes it up from push kick to the leg kick to the hands. He seems a little bit more of a boxer, but he is super flashy with those kicks when he utilizes them. They're so fast, and he puts them together with his hands really well. He's just got to start making sure that he can learn to keep his back off the ground. Because he got taken down, but then he was able to reverse it and get to the top position. But that was because he was physically stronger than his opponent.
He's a better athlete.
And you could just see Flick was having a hard time as the fight went on, dealing with the speed, was blinking, was flinching. Every time Johnson just did something, he went flinch. Every time he'd feint, he'd flinch.
Yep.
And so those things, not only do they expend energy, but then you start second guessing yourself. You don't know when to throw, when not to throw.
They don't help you in the fight.
They don't help you at all. No.
None of them.
But Charles Johnson to me looked really good. I'm looking forward to seeing him fight again. Pumped to watch him fight. Good fighter.
He is looking good. The flyweights have someone in him. I would love to see Charles Johnson against Manel Cape. That would be a good fight.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of great fighters in that weight class. Like you got like 3 or 4, but then there's a huge gap between the ones that are in 3 and 4.
Yep.
It's very much like the heavyweight division. You got like Ciryl Gane, you've got Aspinall, you've got Jon Jones, no more Ngannou, but you've got those top 3, and there's like a gap between the rest of them. It's just a pretty big gap. Yeah. So I think the same thing. I feel the same way about the fighters in the flyweight division. And that's across the board in every promotion. Bellator doesn't even have the flyweights, but the one.
But they should.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps up our UFC talk, and we're going to move right along. But first, before we move along, John, we're going to start doing this thing where I want to start doing this thing where we rate this card.
You want to start doing this thing?
Yeah, well, Podcast Dave had the idea, so I got to actually, I got to show him a little bit.
Podcast Dave has a lot of these ideas.
They're normally
you got to give him credit.
They're normally boneheaded, so we don't.
You
really
want a
pay
check in
attention
the
to
mail? You get too many damn checks in the mail, mister.
If you're going to rate this card between 1 to 10.
If I was going to rate this card 1 to 10, look, it wasn't. There was a couple of fights that I really was looking forward to. The Umar fight, I really wanted to see. I wanted to see Dan Ige because I just like his style of fighting. I like what he does. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. I give it a 6.5, 7.
Oh wow, that high.
Yeah.
Wow.
6.5?
Nothing against.
Come on, that's not that high.
That's pretty high.
That's pretty high.
I'm gonna
Is it pretty high?
Yeah, I'm gonna give.
So
it
we're
a
saying
5.5.
5 is average. Is that what we're saying?
No. We're saying
Five's in the middle.
we're saying you make up 5's in the middle. That's average.
5's average.
Yeah,
That's 6.5.
It's so weird how you pointed that out. So you're saying 5's average. Well, it is in the middle between 1 and 10. So yeah, it is average.
Very much. Shows you how astute I can be.
I'll give it a 5.5.
Wow, you're being rougher.
No, it's not so much rough, John. It just the change up with the main event. One guy coming in at 204, the guy coming in at 194. They fought a good fight. It was entertaining back and forth.
It was a good.
It seemed a little bit more
for 3 rounds.
Yeah.
It was a good fight. I mean, the fourth, nothing wrong with the fourth and fifth, but it slowed down because both guys were getting tired.
Yeah, but it looked a little bit more like a sparring match.
Yeah,
a sparring between two, and don't get me wrong, they're both fantastic fighters.
They were sparring pretty hard.
They were, but Sean Strickland's used to that. So
yes, he is.
Raquel Pennington, just got to see more out of her. Like, just to have more output. Like, there was just that little bit more of everything I want to see. A little bit more out of Umar. I want to see more out of Umar.
Put that card back up. I want to see because I want to. This is why you're being a little harsh. Okay, was the Ige fight good? Yes,
it was good.
Okay, was the Kopylov fight good?
I would say the Ige fight was probably the best fight on the card.
Was the Kopylov fight good?
It was good, but it wasn't great.
But it was a really impressive performance. Okay, was Umar's fight good?
Well, I mean, what do you think I'm going to say, John? You know, I'm a homer. I'm
I'm
going to gas him up, man. That was the best fight on the card. He's
you just
young
told
talent.
me that Ige was.
I made up my mind. No, Umar is now.
My whole point is this: Charles Johnson. That was a really nice
fight.
performance. Good fight.
But no one saw it because it was the first fight of the night.
The Nascimento fight. That was a great submission. Beautiful job. Okay. You go past the Al Hassan big time knockout wasn't a great fight, but big time that was a nice knockout. You got to give it that Basharat against Mendonca was a good fight.
Yeah, it was a good fight.
It was. Umar's was good. So overall, more than half of these were actually
no.
Yes.
John,
go ahead.
That's why I gave it a 5.5, John. I didn't give it a 5. I gave it a 5.5.
Yeah, you're being weak.
And so I'm saying, look, Charles Johnson was a great fight, but he was too dominant. And it's not his fault. Just his opponent just couldn't handle what he was delivering.
Okay.
And so when I see fights like that,
hold on.
I want to see it back.
So
and
he
forth.
delivered. He did what he was supposed to do.
You took a superior
fighter
and put him against a lesser fighter.
He finished the
John,
guy.
I can yell as loud as you if you want me to.
I'm not yelling loud. My thing is getting a little bit.
John, I don't like that.
He's like, the man did what he's supposed to do.
Can you hear me?
He finished. You're saying he's lesser. He finished his opponent. That's what he's supposed to do.
But his opponent was a lesser fighter. Tell me he wasn't. Tell me he wasn't.
He's a guy coming off of a long layoff.
Yeah, and so look,
but he's a really good ground guy.
I'm not taking anything away from Charles Johnson. Great fighter. Okay. Great. He did what he was supposed to do. I agree.
You're being harsh with 5.5.
One side. No, I'm not being harsh, John. The card was okay. It was okay.
You want to come up to 6.5? Trust me.
No, I don't. No. There's not a damn thing you can say.
All right, what do we got?
Charles Johnson all the way up to Umar. I like the Hassan fight. I like. Yeah. But no, all the way up to the Umar fight was the rest of the card was. That's why I gave it a 5.5.
You got to give the Kopylov and the Ige fight were good.
Mm-hmm. That's why I gave it a 5.5. Dan Ige saved the card.
You needed to go.
Dan Ige saved the card.
6.5.
Dan Ige 5.5. Okay, here we go.
All right,
next, what do you got for us?
We'll see what the fans thought.
Oh yeah, by the way, fans, tell us what you thought of it down below. Give us your opinion. Give us in the comments because I'll read them to John because John can't see anymore. He's getting old and he can't read either. So that Tennessee education he can't read either.
Don't read things that don't matter to me.
Did you go to high school you went to Long Beach, right? I know you went to Long Beach State, correct? But did you go to high school in LA?
Yeah. Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Where'd you go?
Wilson. Yeah. Well, mine was Glenn A. Wilson. There's a Wilson High School, LA. That's the Mules. Mine's a different one.
Got it. All right, let's get into some news there, Dave. What do you got for us?
All right, so this first story is from MMA Fighting, reporting that Francis Ngannou is officially.
Did it really get reported from them first?
No, I'm just reading the report from
I
there.
felt like I saw it somewhere else first, but
Dana White did say it in his own words, so
yeah,
he has confirmed it. Francis is gone from UFC and he's been released from all contractual obligations, so he can go do whatever he wants right now.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts?
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I would like to see him fight in Bellator. I would like to see that.
Your thoughts?
I would like to, because if he signs with Bellator, he can still do boxing because boxing is available there as well.
Yeah.
I think he's just looking for the one fight, though. I think he's looking for the Tyson Fury fight.
He is looking for that.
Yeah, or I'd like to see him.
How could you blame him for, let's break this down for people so they understand it. Because there's a lot of bullshit being put out there. And it's because, look, Dana is a promoter for the UFC, and his job is to promote his product. And I do not blame him for anything he says in the fashion of trying to build his product. But the first thing he said was, we offered Francis Ngannou the best heavyweight contract that we've ever, better than Brock Lesnar's, all that stuff. Okay. That doesn't mean that they offered him a contract that would allow him to box. And that was the big sticking point. Because let's be honest, he could make more money in one fight with Tyson Fury than that entire contract was for all of those fights. So they didn't offer him more money than what he could make if he goes and makes that Tyson Fury fight. Mm-hmm. You got to look and say, hey, it wasn't apples to apples. All right. Second, Dana said that Francis obviously wants lesser competition. He wants to fight for more money for lesser competition. Dana, he beat everybody that you put in front of him to become the champion. He beat Stipe to win the championship. You then put Ciryl Gane in front of him, and he beat Ciryl Gane, the guy that you're going to put up again to be up for the title against Jon Jones. You can't take anything from him, and to sit there and say he wants to fight lesser competition is not true. He wants to fight a guy named Tyson Fury in boxing. You don't want him to. I understand why you don't want him to. I'm not saying you're wrong in that, but the fact is he can make a ton of money doing that. I look at it, the PFL, I've heard they've been talking to him. I know Bellator's been talking to him. Wherever he goes, it is going to be on his contract that he can box anybody he wants, and they can't tell him no. And that's the real difference that's going to be. Whoever signs Francis, and look, Francis is 30, 36, 35, 36 now?
36.
Okay. 36 years of age. His record is somewhere, 17-3, something like that. And he's taken zero damage throughout his career. Really hasn't taken any kind of damage at all. He is a young 36 because physically the dude is a monster. I stand next to Francis and talk with him. I go, God damn, who the fuck put you together? Because he is just put together like a brick shithouse. And you take a look, a brick shithouse is a strong fucking building, trust me. And no damage. He's got years left on him. To sit there and to say, well, he's getting older. Yeah, but not as a heavyweight, and not as a heavyweight that has not been damaged. Now, could he get damaged if he fights Tyson Fury? Yeah, I don't think that's a good fight for him. I'm being honest. I think that's a fight he's going to lose. But I understand why he wants to do it for the amount of money that he'll make. Conor McGregor made how much money fighting Floyd Mayweather?
100 million?
Just say a shit ton, exactly.
Yeah, 100 million?
Well,
maybe a little bit more.
Do you think the UFC's contract was going to make Francis that type of money? Because that's the kind of money he could get close to making if he fights Tyson Fury. I understand why he did this, and I don't blame him. The UFC was in a position where they had to release him because they can't match. They won't match.
Which is weird because, I thought the BJ Penn situation and same thing with the Reina Couture situation had really had them adjust their contracts. For some reason, he was able to get through this and still
he waited
leave
how
with
long?
The title.
Think about how long.
Yeah.
It's the length.
Yeah,
you
but
can
he
only
was
hold
injured.
someone for what's that? He was injured, but
he was injured.
He was, and that's a good reason for him not to fight.
Mm-hmm.
But he was in a position where he could wait. He waited him out. It was a long. They'd been trying to put him under contract for over 2 years, Josh.
Yeah.
Over 2 years, he has held out and said, "No, I want a clause in here that I can go box," and they don't want to give him that. And, okay, but that's what he wanted. And so when they sit there and they say, he can go and we waive all matching and everything. That's because they will not match. As soon as a company says, yes, you can box, and they put it in the contract, now the UFC can't match it because they won't. They won't give him that.
Yeah. My other thing is he better have this Tyson Fury fight or one of these boxing matches already kind of locked down.
Yeah.
Like if he'd bounced out without getting, because once these boxing promoters start getting involved, this shit gets dirty and nasty real quick. So and so wanted this, he demanded this, it wasn't gonna work. I mean, you see it all the time. You never get to see the boxing matches you want to see while they're both in their prime, with 2 O's, no losses, and just coming in and getting ready to throw it out. You never see that.
Who's the heavyweight champion right now?
Tyson Fury.
Okay.
There's only one.
You can say Usyk.
No.
But
no,
it's Tyson Fury. So who controls the heavyweight division? Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
So who wants to fight Francis Ngannou?
Yeah, Tyson Fury. Yeah. He does. And Tyson Fury does whatever the fuck he wants.
I love Tyson Fury.
I love it. I love it. I mean, he better have that fight locked down. And then it really doesn't matter who he signs with after that. You know what I mean?
No.
He'll make enough money. He's cool, chill. Yep. I don't know. That's the fight to make, though. If you left the UFC and the heavyweight division for a big contract, you better make that fight happen.
Yeah.
There's no backing out.
But he's going to make a lot of money. And you
for
cannot
him.
blame him.
Good for him.
He's a good guy.
I'm not blaming him.
Yeah.
But it's just funny because if you go back to every time a fighter has ever left the UFC, what is Dana's? It's almost like I can play it on a recorder.
Of course you
It's
can.
the same thing. What does he say?
He doesn't want to fight the very best.
Yeah.
He wants to fight lesser competition.
Mm.
But that's his job, and I understand it.
No,
It's
I want to fight.
bullshit.
I want to fight the guys in your promotion, but you just don't pay me enough.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So I'm going to go somewhere else to make more
That will
money.
pay me more,
They will
or
pay
allow
you
me
more.
to fight something that I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've already heard it. Like Sarah McMahon just came out and it's like, oh, I've heard for years that all these other promotions pay more. She's like, shit, they do.
Yeah, a lot more.
I mean,
They have to.
Exactly.
They
Yeah.
have to.
You have to. People have to remember that if PFL and Bellator and ONE don't pay you more, why would you go there?
Yeah, you're going to get more
Yeah.
press, more spark, just being part of the UFC. That's one of the perks of it. If you want your ego to be pumped by telling people you fight in an organization, the UFC is going to be the organization that's going to give you the biggest pump.
Yeah. You know what's funny is AJ McKee just came out and was like, hey, he's like, why do I want to be famous? He's like, well, fame
doesn't pay bills. It doesn't.
But the thing is, everyone's like, yeah, but it can make you a lot of money. Yeah, it could. It could make you a lot of money though, John. But
Yeah.
the thing is though, that the money that it makes you is not like the Floyd Mayweather money. It's not like the Tyson Fury money. It's not like that money. That money will run out. Like, oh yeah, you made a lot of money. Sure, you made an extra 15 grand. You made an extra 25 grand. But that money goes fast. As you start fighting and giving yourself a bigger name, you start becoming attracted to things that are a little bit more expensive. So sure, you made that money
bigger tractors
because you have bigger tractors for you. But you have made that money and you're doing well and you're making another 30, 40, 80, 100 grand, but that money goes fast because as you start bringing more money in, you start thinking it's going to be there forever, and it's not. It's not going to be there forever. You need to get that fuck you money. And that fuck you money is that Tyson Fury fight. Because there's no the amount of money that those fighters get paid in the UFC, and DC is one of them. DC ain't got fuck you money. He's got money.
He's got money.
But he ain't got fuck you money. Not when he lives here in Silicon Valley. That ain't fuck you money. Those people that work, those little techie nerds, they work at Apple and Facebook and all that shit. A lot of them got fuck you money and stocks and shit. But to say DC has it, no, he doesn't. Habib's got a lot of money, but he has enough money that he lives within his means. Though his culture, his family, they live differently.
In that type of lifestyle.
He has no desire to live in that lifestyle.
Yeah,
and so that's where the difference is.
The lifestyle that Habib is comfortable with, he's got plenty of money for the rest of his life.
That's like fuck you money. That's fuck you money in his lifestyle.
Yes,
that's when he knows his limits. Yeah, I agree. So. But to think that Francis Ngannou, I'm going to make all this money signing the biggest contract in UFC history for a heavyweight, it's still not fuck you money. I can go fight Tyson Fury one fight and make probably quadruple. And probably away. All of the money that he's made in his career fighting. UFC. So
he will make more money in that one fight than for every fight that he's done so far, plus the contract that they were saying it's the biggest contract ever. I'm not saying it's not. It's not going to be close to what he'll make there.
Good for him.
People need to understand, in that realm, whoever's the promoter of the fight, and trust me, Tyson will be part of it, they get a certain amount, but 80% will go to the fighters. Okay? That means that 75% of it will go to the two guys in the main event, Francis and Tyson. Now, Tyson's going to get a bigger chunk. Absolutely. He's the heavyweight champion, no doubt about it. But, when you're taking a look at how much money that fight can be marketed for, and people will buy that fight. That's one people will put money down to watch. And so they could make big time money. I can't blame him.
It's not a good fight for Francis, though.
Oh, he's going to lose. I'm just being honest. I love Francis. Everyone's going to sit there. He hits the hardest. Look, Deontay Wilder hits like a fucking truck. Okay? Fury is not going to have a problem. He's going to outbox Francis. It's not going to be a good night for Francis, but if Francis is going to make that kind of money, I don't blame him. I would take the fight.
Do you remember when I don't know if you were when you were a kid? It wasn't Mike Tyson, but when I was a kid, it was Mike Tyson. You were probably like in your 40s when Mike Tyson was making his run. For me, I was a kid, so it was always like, would you get in the ring with Mike Tyson for $1 million? And I was like,
yes.
Fuck yes. Shit.
What's the worst thing that can happen to me?
You could die.
I get knocked out.
You could die.
I ain't dying. Get knocked out.
You could die.
I get knocked out. Big deal.
You could die. That was
Bullshit.
the worst thing that could happen.
No.
All right, next.
All right, let's hop into the next one here. So with the release of Francis Ngannou, we have a heavyweight title fight announced on March 4th. We got Jon Jones returning against Ciryl Gane. What do you guys think about this one?
I think it's a great matchup. I think if it's a matchup, here's going to be your problem. It's going to be straight out. The guys that have given Jon Jones the most problems are guys that are his size as far as length and height. Ciryl Gane's 6'5", Jon Jones is 6'4", so he's got the height to match it. He's got almost the same. John's got a crazy 84-inch reach. I think Ciryl Gane's is 81, so it's close. That's a big, neutralizing factor for Jon, so it's not going to help him that much. The big problem is Ciryl Gane was out-wrestled by Francis Ngannou. And Jon Jones is not a dumb man. Jon Jones is a smart fighter. Jon Jones is training with another guy that I consider a very smart fighter and a very good coach in Henry Cejudo, and a guy that He knows a little bit about wrestling. Look, Jon Jones is going to take Ciryl Gane off of his feet and systematically beat him down. Just telling you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If you guys go back to the second fight, it's going to look a little bit something like that.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to touch him on the feet a little bit here and there. He's going to use some trickery and some fuckery, to keep him guessing in the Ciryl Gane fight. He's going to make him, is he kicking my calf? Is he kicking my body? Is he push kicking me? Is he just posting on my forehead like I'm his little brother? And the next thing you know, I'm overextending and I'm getting taken down. And on the ground, Jon Jones gets him out of there.
Oh.
Like Jon on top, his elbows, his fucking good.
Yep.
No matter how you feel about Jon Jones and all the other bullshit, one thing you can never talk about is his fucking fight IQ and his fucking talent. This guy is a fucking stud. Everywhere he's a stud.
And can change in the middle of the fight so well. Can change things that this is what we're talking about with, the UFC that was last night and talking about a guy like Nasruddin, a teammate of Ciryl, unable to change what's happening in the fight. Jon Jones, man, as soon as that's happening, he's changing it. He just unbelievable fight IQ, unbelievable ability. The only question I have, and he's taken a long time to put that weight on, is how does he deal with the extra weight?
Jon, it's been over 3 years since he's fought.
I know.
That's a lot.
It is. But he's good, dude. Just be honest.
But when we all know how good he is, like he's leaps and bounds above everyone else.
Yeah.
It's like, and he's going to be leaps and bounds like above heavyweights. Like most people want to go down in weight. Why? Where they're faster and they got more cardio. Why? This guy goes up and he's like, I'm a better wrestler than all you guys. He's going to have some hard times. I've always felt this way. His hardest fight will be Curtis Blades.
Yep.
Another
guy that can wrestle.
Yep, a guy can wrestle. This guy's got a long, lanky body style as well.
Yep.
Jon's the way better fighter on the feet, but in the wrestling, I think Jon's probably still the better wrestler. I just don't know.
He can't dominate the wrestling.
No, he can't dominate the wrestling. So that's going to make him guess. I mean, you got to think, in the first Gus fight, Gus was able to take him down several times. So if you can catch him off guard, if you can get him thinking you're standing and make it, into a little bit of a back and forth on the feet and take those takedowns when they present themselves, then you can start getting into Jon's head a little bit, I think, like in that first Gus fight. But Ciryl ain't got that. He ain't taking him down. He's going to have to stick and move.
Yep. Stand-up is going to be Ciryl Gane's route to victory, and I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. Next. I'm excited to see Jon fight, though.
Oh, yeah?
It's been a long time, man. I'm excited.
Leon Edwards against Kamaru Usman was announced. That's a good look. This is the one that should be happening. It's going to happen March 18th in London. It's the fight that, when we talk about does this person deserve a rematch right away, there's no way in the world that you can sit there and not say that Kamaru Usman wouldn't be almost top of the class in deserving a rematch against Leon Edwards. The real question is it going to be a different fight? I think it is. I think you're going to see a difference. Right. You're going to see a difference between, the first fight, the second fight, and now the third fight. You've seen a difference in the first and the second. You're going to see a difference in the third. It's, both are going to have to change some things up in what they're going to do, but this is a great, championship fight. Leon Edwards being able to actually showcase himself in front of his fans in London, that's going to help him. It's going to put more pressure on him, but it's going to help him too.
I don't think it's going to be a different fight outside of the knockout. I think Kamaru is going to be able to wrestle him a little bit more. He understands that Leon's been working on his wrestling as well, and that Leon may try to threaten a takedown again. But I think Kamaru kind of didn't respect him in that first round, got taken down, got mounted, all those things. But then after that, it was all Kamaru. So I think you're going to see a lot of what happened in the second, third, fourth. And I'm a huge Leon fan. You guys, I've trained with him. He's such a nice guy. We see him at almost all the Bellator events when his brother fights. We see him all the time. Great guy. Let's
say this. You said great guy. This is a guy that helps so many people as far as, man, helps other fighters out of his camp and everything. But man, he's always helping guys. He's got a wonderful personality, man. He's a guy that came from nothing, and he doesn't have a big ego. He really doesn't.
Yeah, that's a lie. We all have big egos.
Well,
we're
yeah,
fighters.
but,
I was like, that's a lie.
Doesn't have a big ego to carry the spit bucket and do the things that other people need him to do. He's a great guy.
He is fantastic person. I don't know if we're gonna get basically a pickup of where we left off outside of the knockout. It's gonna be Kamaru just putting pressure, slight pressure, wrestling a little bit more. I think in this
He's gonna try to
next
wrestle
one.
more.
He's gonna try to wrestle more. He got a little too comfortable on the feet. He just started believing, I got this, which he was doing well. He just, Leon's got to work off of that jab. He's got to move the head off the line of the jab so Kamaru can't pop him with a jab, and then counter and create an angle and throw again. He's got to do things like that is what Leon's going to have to do. Kamaru's got his hands full in terms of he's going to have to try to solve this riddle again and watch out for the trickery. But I think if he wrestles and he really tries to slow the pace of this fight down, it could potentially affect Leon.
I agree with you in the fact that if he attempts to slow the pace of the fight down, I think he's got a good chance of winning it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to do that.
Interesting. So who's going to win?
Toss up.
Oh, really? You think so?
Yeah, right now, toss up. And it's only because, look, I think Kamaru has an absolute path to winning that fight and getting that title back. And I think he's so competitive. And I like it about him, but he's going to want to knock Leon Edwards out. Bad decision making if he does.
But John, I find that when we get them all the time at AK, good wrestlers, good jiu-jitsu guys, they're really good on the feet. They're good on the feet, but they're not great on the feet. But they start training with Javier. They start training with these stand-up coaches, and all of a sudden they want to be fucking kickboxers.
Yeah. Usman was talking about fighting Canelo. Okay? And it was like, come on, stop. But they start to believe it. And, part of it is you got to have that belief in you. I understand it, but it's got to be rational belief too.
Yeah. All right, next.
All right, and we also, with this main event for UFC 206, we have a co-main confirmed as well.
It's a good one.
Oh, fuck.
And we
That's
got
a great
Gaethje.
one.
How is this not a main event? Jesus.
What are you talking about? I'm glad it's not.
It's the co-main at UFC London.
I know what you're saying is you want it to be 5 rounds. I don't think it's
it might be 5 rounds. It might be 5 rounds.
Maybe.
Because, they've done
Possibly.
some
They
co-main
decide.
events.
This is a great fight, though. You talk about a stand-up fucking battle here.
John, I called this like a month ago.
You didn't call this.
We did. We talked about it on our show.
know
I said,
we
this
did.
is
I
the
know
fight
we
to
did.
make.
That's right.
I'm
did.
I'm glad. See,
It wasn't
Mick,
you.
I want to make sure everyone understands. Mick Maynard listens to our show. I want to make sure everyone understands that. No, I know this. I do know this. And little did we said a month ago, and now all of a
It's a
sudden,
great fight.
ding, ding, ding. I'm like,
ding,
hello.
ding.
Give me this fucking action.
Oh, this is good. You talk about two guys that stand-up wise, fun to watch. This is going to be. See, this is the one to build up. I just hope that I hope the fight lives up to what I expect.
I don't see how it doesn't.
I don't either.
I don't. What the fuck is an ottoman? Like an ottoman, like something I put my feet up on.
Yeah.
Fiziev.
I don't know what ottoman
I don't know
is
what
that
an
way.
ottoman. What is an ottoman?
That'd be an ottoman.
Yeah, I know. John, I was being a smart ass.
I know. I'm not saying you were, but ottoman.
Yeah, what is ottoman? Ottoman. I don't know what that is. Dave, can you look it up? What is it? It's bugging me right now. We understand why they call him the human highlight or the highlight.
If it says ottoman, that means badass.
A Cossack leader. What's Cossack? Oh, Cossack leader. A Cossack.
Yeah,
leader?
well, that's because he's from. Isn't he from Kazakhstan or something like that? Or
I don't know.
His normal place. That's where he wears the.
Oh,
Yes. In the Russian Empire, the term was the official title of the supreme military.
yeah.
So
I thought that was
basically like
see,
a warrior or something.
Okay, and I thought that was still spelled like Ottoman,
Mm.
the OTT, but
Don't look at me, man. I
Shows
can't
you how
spell.
uneducated.
I can't
In
spell
the
for shit.
UK, in the UK where this fight card is happening, they don't call it an ottoman, they call it a poofy. Did you know that?
A poofy?
Like
Yeah.
like the thing on your around your belly button there, Dave. Poofy.
Hey, I'm not the 45-year-old retired fighter that sits on the couch all day
Bro.
watching fights.
Shots fired
So
across the
bad,
bow.
so
Dave, you
bad.
must respond.
Hey, Dave, how does it make you feel to know that I could get up off the couch and still just smack you around?
Oh, that's just wrong. That's just wrong.
Well, the thing is,
Unlikely.
Dave would just outrun me. He'd try to outrun me right now. I'm good for
He
about a
probably could
mile,
right now.
maybe a mile and a half.
Dave's
it's
good.
fucking-
Dave's he's 5
guy's
mile and easy.
He ran a fucking 10-miler the other day.
Yeah,
Did you see
good
it?
for him. See,
At like
no.
7:30 pace.
It's
7:30 pace. Look at you.
7:30 pace.
Hold on. You have now turned yourself into a runner, Dave. You
Yes.
actually like it, don't
yeah,
you?
I'm a runner.
Yes.
Yeah, I am addicted.
Yeah. You like? Yeah, I know. We all know you like the dick. I mean, addicted. Yeah, we all.
Oh, God.
Oh, jeez. All right, let's get back to the news. This is a great fight, John. I'm looking forward to it.
It is a great fight.
I am.
Cannot
Next.
wait. Great co-main event.
All right.
I hope it's
let's
5
look-
rounds, though. I hope it's 5.
Yeah, it would be nice.
It ain't going
This
5.
last
though,
piece.
but- Go ahead.
This last piece of news, Bellator announces the lightweight tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
This is a great tournament. This has got some great matchups and stuff. I actually really like the way that they matched the first round. A lot of times I go, yeah, you blew that.
Yeah.
But if you look at this one, Benson Henderson taking on
Wait,
Usman
is it confirmed?
Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. These fights are confirmed.
Yeah.
Oh, well, are these fights, though?
Yeah.
Is
Those
this,
are the
is this
fights.
the fight
Yep.
schedule that
Yep.
on this poster?
AJ. Yep. AJ's fighting Patricky, and then Benson's fighting Usman, and Barnaoui's fighting Outlaw, and Tofik's fighting Shabli.
Yep. I love the way that they matched them up.
Yeah.
Great strikers in Musayev against Shabli. That'll be a great fight to watch them. AJ, the fact that he fought Patricio, the brother, twice. Great that they're putting him against Patricky. That's going to cause some heat there. Barnaoui against Outlaw, both incredible on the ground. It'll be an outstanding matchup there. So, and that one's in Paris, I believe. So overall, love the first round. Love how they matched them up.
Ken,
This is what you're looking for.
John, if you're looking at this though, and you're Brent Primus, what's going through your mind?
You're Brent Primus, and you're saying, didn't I just beat Benson Henderson? Whoops.
I mean, it's just, they brought Barnaoui in over him,
Yeah.
because Barnaoui had the good win over Adam Piccolotti. And you know that Mamadov, he's out, because he's not going to fight because he's.
They really took the one that they took over. If you're going to look at the rankings, the one that they took over Primus was AJ.
Mm-hmm.
And now AJ was at number 8 based upon beating Spike Carlisle. That was his only fight in lightweight. Then he went and fought against Souza in the New Year's Eve, and you got to look and say that was a big fight.
Mm-hmm.
That should move him up in the rankings. And if it does it move him up 2 spaces? I would tell you it has to.
Well, because they're going to knock Mamadov out because he's not going to fight Usman if they both get to the finals. So he's out. Brent Primus, he got knocked out because Barnaoui got put in. So you have Barnaoui versus Outlaw, and then you've got AJ McKee that came up in there as well.
But what's
So
one of
however
the biggest
you-
problems? One of the biggest problems that we've always talked about with Brent Primus is what?
He just lays on his back and just
He doesn't
attacks
fight
submissions.
enough.
Yeah.
He
Well,
does
he's
not
fought quite
fight
a bit
enough.
lately, though. He's fought
Think-
lately quite a bit.
Really? Okay, I want you to think about this. This man has been fighting now for, 13, 14 years?
Yeah.
How many fights does he have?
13,
13, 14?
He was doing one fight a year for 6-7 years. I know
You
that.
can't do that.
No.
You got to fight. And look, I think Brent Primus is a good fighter. I think he's fantastic submission guy, beautiful
Michael
ground
Chandler.
game. Yeah, and he deserved to be, to beat Chandler. But I just look and I go, just doesn't fight enough. If I'm looking and I'm saying I've got a guy that was a featherweight champion, I got a guy that was a lightweight champion. Okay, I got a guy that's 11-3 in Brent Primus. I got a guy that's 20-1 in AJ. It
Yeah.
just this is
Yeah, no, I get it. The Benson fight's giving Usman a little bit of notoriety because you're fighting a legend, and Benson also wants to get to that title as fast as possible because this is his last run. He hasn't been able to win the Bellator title yet. He was able to win the UFC and the WC titles. He has not been able to win the Bellator title yet in the 170 or the 155-pound division. The Barnawi fight versus Outlaw, both of them are fantastic grapplers. Barnawi's got a little bit better stand-up. Actually, not a little bit better, a lot better. But he's good. Yeah, a lot longer, but he's a big guy for 155. He's a big guy. And so that's going to be a fun fight. That'll be in France. That's in Paris. I think that's May 21st or May 12th or something like that. And then Tofik Mosayev and Shabli.
That's a good fight.
I was like, man, why are you going to put this fight first? And then Coker goes, look, I've learned one thing in tournaments. If you don't put the matches you want to see first, you'll never get them. You'll never get them. There's no guarantees. No. So, like, let's have them fight in the first round. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Both these guys, fantastic stand-up fighters. They're going to stand and bang. Yep. Super explosive, both of them. And then Pitbull and Patricio, Patricky and AJ McKee. But because of the Patricio link, this fight makes it fun. You know, Benson Henderson and Usman, they're going to fight in San Jose, I believe, March 13th is what it seems like. You know, and so there's a lot of good fights that are coming up. This is going to be a great tournament, man. These guys are going to be getting after it. I'm excited. John, I want to go back. Sorry, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up that conversation, but I want to go back to the actual fight card we talked about from the UFC. There was one thing I wanted to ask you about. There was a moment with Jason Herzog. One of the fighters threw like an uppercut with his palm open, and the glove cut. Was it Damon Jackson? It cut him. It was Damon Jackson, I believe, right?
Well, he acted like it affected his eye.
Yeah, and the glove, but then Jason Herzog goes, hey, I know it was meant to be an uppercut, but you've got to keep your hand closed. But it still was a strike. He didn't poke him in the eye. The glove cut him. So you just got to leave that alone, right? He didn't do anything wrong.
Nope.
So should he have said something?
Okay, let's go back to UFC
this just
46.
came to me right now. That's why I'm asking about
UFC 46. So, did you fight in UFC 46? No, you were 44.
I did.
46 too?
44, 46, 49.
Okay, so you were there. So Randy Couture fights Vitor Belfort for the light heavyweight championship. And Vitor throws a left hand, hooked, and the glove actually catches Randy's eye and slices his eyelid right along where the eyelashes are at. And what did he do illegally? Nothing. And that fight was 49 seconds long. And that was because I let him actually, Randy try to work his way through, but he kept it with his eye, like he got poked. And I said, I remember. He didn't get poked. And so stop the fight, bring him to the doctor. The doctor goes, you can't let this go on, and we're going to have a hard time sewing up this eye. His eye's bad. Stop it. Vitor wins the championship.
Yeah.
What did he do that was illegal?
Nothing.
You can't make stuff up. And when that hand, if the glove creates a problem, then you're going to have to say, okay, well, let me go back. And we did. I went back and looked at the glove and figured out, okay, we've got to have this glove made a different way.
Yep,
because
they did.
Used to have the corners were sewn and pinched together.
Sewn on the outside, and they hung out on the edges.
Yeah, a little edge on it, a little sharp point. So we rolled them from that point. These things happen, but really, you look and you go, someone asked me on
I have a question
Twitter,
though. What's this we stuff? What's this we rolled them? What? It's like John's in the factory making the gloves.
Well, I was okay. The truth was the gloves were made by John Awano.
Yes,
and
they still are, aren't they?
No, Century makes the UFC's gloves.
Oh, they make the new. Okay, I didn't know.
But John Awano and I were the ones that created the way that glove was. I would give him things to do. He would make a glove. I would test it out, try the different things, and so I went back to him and said, "Hey, we got to do something." And rolling it was what we came up with, and he's the one that made them. And so, yes, John Awano was the glove.
Oh, so you did have a little bit of take in this. I was like, I
did have a little bit.
What's this wee stuff? Like you were in the factory.
Well, I wasn't. I definitely was not the one doing the sewing.
No, I was like, I can see John in this factory in China in a sweatshop, just sewing it with his hands. Like, like what he
it was, and people have no idea of how all that stuff took place because it was Lorenzo Fertitta came to me and said, at the time we were using, they were called Boxergenics, were the gloves, and they were a neoprene.
Yeah, I have a pair in my garage.
Yeah,
I have a pair.
Yeah. And he said, no, we want a company to make. And so I went to all the different companies. I went to Harbinger. I went to Century. Went to all these. There was one person that was willing to make the glove the way we wanted to make it, Jon Jones.
Wow.
And that's how Jon got the contract off of it. And so Jon and I were the ones who put the thing together. He had, different things at the time. As note, let's take this off. Let's do this. And the glove worked.
Wasn't the UFC trying to buy Ngannou? Like they wanted to buy their name, or they ever want to buy the gloves?
All kinds of things. Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to be
Eventually, they just,
split ways.
went with Century because they got a lot of money, and they got a shittier glove.
Yeah. It sucks that they don't have it folded. But I just wanted to know, because Herzog comes back and goes, hey, I know that
he's trying to make it fair.
Yeah.
He's trying to make it fair because he's saying, the guy, the glove touched his eye. The glove can touch his eye.
Yeah.
If there was nothing, if think about this, you and I are fighting, and and luckily I'm on top, right?
I mean, you wouldn't get out of like 30 seconds. I mean, you'd be tired chasing me around. You'd be tired.
I might be tired of chasing.
Cardiac arrest.
I take my hand and I'm on top, and I put my hand on your face, and I push, and we'll say the little part towards my palm of my hand rubs on your eye, and I'm not trying to rub it in. I'm just pushing your face. I can do that. That's legal. Yeah. So you can't create. Oh, that's an eye poke. It's not an eye poke.
Yep.
There are things and there are other things. People talk about. Well, there's got to be. Taking the chin and digging the chin into the eye socket. That's considered gouging of the eye. Oh, so there are other things, yes, because well, it's funny. We go back again long ago. Mark Kerr is fighting a guy named Dan Bobbitt, and I had brought up, hey, what about putting someone's chin in the eye? Nah, let it be. It's fine. So Mark Kerr does it to Dan Bobbitt, right? And Dan Bobbitt, he screams, right? And they go, yeah, we got to make that a rule. You can't do that. Oh, really? I fucking brought it to you and said, well, hey, we shouldn't allow this. Sure. All of a sudden, as soon as they looked at it, they go, oh, that was bad.
Yeah. John, if most of you guys that don't know how you got my nickname, the Punk, was in training, I would stick my chin like in your ribs. I'd stick my chin in your eyeball socket. I would tickle you to get out of submissions. And if they were too tight, I'd stick my thumb in your ass. I'd literally I was gonna win somehow, some way.
Checking the oil.
That's how I got called the Punk. That's exactly how it was. I was like, fuck no. I wasn't gonna lose.
Little fuck.
I was. But I always wondered. So tickling is legal.
Yeah.
Because I'd start tickling people, going, coochie,
anybody
coochie.
that coochie. If I'm choking you, you can coochie all you want. I'll choke you unconscious.
You wouldn't be surprised how many people let go.
It's fucking crazy.
No. If I just tickled them, they didn't know what it was. As soon as you say coochie, they freak out. Like, oh my God, I'm getting tickled. It was almost like they didn't realize they were getting tickled until you started saying coochie. It was so stupid, man. But fuck, I had some good times making people just squeal. They were squealing. It was great. All right, guys. Well, hey, that's going to wrap up our show for this week. Go to WeighingInMerch.com. Pick up some of our merch. We got hoodies. We got sweatshirts, long sleeves, short sleeves. We got them all, baby. We got the new hats that are all out, new designs. Can't wait. We're going to try to get some more designs up there for you guys as well. And please enjoy at WeighingInMerch.com, the Weighing In product. John, take us away, bud.
Hey, it was the first. The first show is over. Now it's a long year of fights. Thank God we've got them coming, and we got them coming in bunches. So everyone out there, enjoy yourself. Enjoy the cold weather because it's cold everywhere. Enjoy the rain if you're in California, and we will see you.